All right. Morning, everyone. Now, back for another Stu's Corner, and this is a cracker. Sorry, it's been a little while. This week, not this week. Last week we had I had a weightlifter in, which I do see a lot of weightlifters. This one was actually really quite interesting from the point of view that they came in with bilateral medial elbow pain. So for all intents and purposes, we would imagine that that's a golfer's elbow. Attachments were sore. Obviously, the musculature down there was quite tender and so forth. And obviously, on stretch, once again, there was a lot of tension and load, and you could feel the pull down through there. Interesting one. He'd been around to a couple of practitioners to get this sorted, but when I'd had a look at him, and obviously I said, well, tell me when are you feeling it most? Obviously it is when you're gripping and so forth. And he's like, it's worse when I'm, when I actually go up and do when they do their clench and they're going to basically wrap their elbows down and under and their wrists underneath the barbell, and then obviously they push up from there. So the problem was, when he says, when I get into this position, that's the problem, and I'm like, okay, righto. So when you get into that position, are you able to get your wrists under? He's going, well, no, I'm having real trouble doing that because I'm, so tight through here and so forth. But I'm like, right, okay, righto. But when I looked at him and he was getting into that position, I could see that obviously with his lats, he wasn't able to get them right back and in and under so that he could push up underneath. And I said, is your back being sore? Are your lats and all that sort of stuff? Anyway, so got him on the table and just obviously brought his arms back and just sort of, tested out what sort of range he had in his lats and so forth. And look, obviously I'd treated him before, but not from that point of view. And I'm like, geez, you seem very tight through your lats there. Let's do some work on your lats and let's try and see if we can't free them up and see if that may maybe change the position of your wrists being able to come underneath in your flexors and so on. And sure enough, offload the lats, bang, all of a sudden he's able to get back under the bar, get in that position, goes, that's so much better. And obviously, and then from then on, functionally, his elbow pain obviously dissipated. So he as much as he thought he may have had a tendon overuse injury there, and I was sort of thinking, well, yeah, you may too. But once we changed the tension on his lats, he was able to get that wrist position properly again, and he was able to push up, and he was no longer wearing all the load into his medial elbow. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously always looking outside of the box a little bit in terms of, what may be happening function-wise, as much as I can understand, but he hadn't really changed a great deal with the way that he was lifting. It was more that he'd done some cross-training and so forth, and he'd actually just been loading his lats a little bit more differently, and that had obviously made a big difference onto the tension into the wrists, just not allowing him to get underneath the bar and be able to push like he used to. So obviously he was sort of tilting forward a little bit more, and therefore all the load was going to the medial elbow. And obviously because it was bilateral, it's like, well, have you changed your grip? What have you changed? He's like, no, I haven't changed anything. This was the only thing. So I'm like, okay, all right, well, maybe it's the lats, and there you go. Guys, hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying obviously the Victorian winter, but obviously we're on the other road now, got the other side of the solstice, so hopefully we're going to start heading more towards warmer weather, and that'll be nice. All right, guys, be awesome at what you do.